This draft needs to be painted.
And again, change the palette, use new colors. And when I'm talking about that, I mean switching sides because it's been RRQ on blue all throughout. Let's see if we'll see a switch up this time around. Indeed we do.
Yes.
It's Blacklist this time around on blue. They take out the Franco to join the Eve, open with a Farsa pick, while RRQ Hoshi, they got the 2-pick swing back. They battle the 1-1, the glue, and the carry.
First off, from Blacklist, it's going to be that Farsa. There's so much roam potential, decent amount of crowd control, and of course that long range that Blacklist has been completely abusing. So right now for RRQ, now that there's a very juicy target there, will they try and risk going for an assassin again? Because we've seen that there is a possibility that they like to explore. They've been able to just jump on Haji again and again, but of course that depends on how many dive tools they can secure in this pick phase.
Oh, there we go. It's going to be Yuzhong and the Kaja locked in for the side of RRQ. I feel like an assassin can still go very well against Blacklist this draft, but it all depends on this current pick phase, right? Yes, you got the Farsa going in. I'm thinking from the Hayabusa, but Edward is going for his signature Benedetta, and there's an Estes, and now the assassin just doesn't look very juicy anymore, right, Yo?
Yep, I believe in the whole series is the first time since RRQ has switched sides, the Benedetta has come through. And this has happened in M4, I believe, already, specifically in Blacklist series, that they get these 3 first picks in this order. Almost exactly the same. All right? The Farsa, the Benedetta, and the Estes. And here's a few words from Coach Arcadia of RRQ Hoshi. We still have a lot to show you. RRQ Hoshi has many strategies related to tanks. Just wait. So this is what I was talking about. He shared this is One Esports.
Yes.
This is what I was talking about.
Exactly. I feel like if this is a time or this is a game to pull out a tank jungler, you pull it out now. I think Wise has gone unpunished with the Fredrin pick all along, and you best be sure if RRQ doesn't ban away the Fredrin, Wise will pick it up again.
Lunox actually is the pick for RRQ right now. And speaking of past strategies, etc., we've seen that one composition that I've seen Blacklist struggle with is when they're up against a Yuzong and a Kadita, actually. So that being said, that's still a possibility, but maybe it will get banned out. But RRQ will take away that Fredrin, that very pesky, very useful, very flexible Fredrin away from the hands of Wise.
Yeah, this is just due diligence, right? You take out the glue. Edward has been amazing on it. I still believe that's an understatement. And you take out the Fredrin. I hear you, man. I think they have to start pressuring even Oheb all the more because he did so well with the Brody, did well with the Claude. The answer by Blacklist, they want to quell and stop Baby Alien from coming through the back line. There's the Fanny. Would not be surprised if it was a Ling. The second ban might be a Ling.
Second ban coming out from the side of Blacklist definitely is going to be a Ling. I feel like Blacklist International has successfully clipped the wings of Albert. RRQ, on the other hand, it's their time to ban. I'm thinking you stick to the Barats. I think the Barats in this particular draft coming up from Blacklist International is super strong. The amount of pick potential that you can do, but no, they're focusing on the Brody instead.
Had to mention it.
Brody, so I think they're going to try and target Oheb potentially if they can get. I mean, again, they have a Yuzong already with a Lunox, so if they can make sure that Oheb does not have a very secure, a very safe hero, they can try and shut him down despite the fact that there is a Farsa and there is a Benedetta. If Oheb cannot scale, then the whole Ube falls apart because the main damage output is still in the hands of Oheb.
Are they allowing Oheb to pick up the Claude that's still out there?
I feel like that's a very big question, right? I think when I'm looking at the bans coming up from RRQ, I may not be the best drafter out there, but here's my 2 cents, right? You're half banning, technically speaking, in the last point of time, but no, it's going to be Blacklist, limiting that gold lane, the marksman pool even further.
So what's left out there? Irithel, Clint, Beatrix, Harith.
Leslie, maybe.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Leslie, but I feel like, I'm sorry, this is not her meta.
Yeah, no, the Yuzhong is there.
Yeah, not with when you Yuzhong over there, but wait, I haven't heard this in a long time, but ours, it's gonna be a Ling from Albert.
That's the Baby Alien. Again, we read this second ban from Blacklist to be the Ling.
Yeah.
They didn't do it, and of course,
that's a bait.
RRQ obliges. There's the Ling. Oh, are you... A bait?
Could be a bait.
Could be.
Like allowing it? Like,
I mean, we've seen that they were able to completely shut down a purple buff reliant jungler.
Correct.
So letting the Ling go, this might be exactly what they're aiming for. But of course, Albert is no stranger to those situations, so we'll have to see. It will all come down to the rest of the picks.
That's right, Arashi. I think it's all about, whether RRQ realizes that that's a problem. Because if you watch that previous game, Albert has no purple buff for a good whole 10 minutes of the game. He's practically useless.
Yeah, so far Blacklist has been able to solve the Lancelot, the Fanny, and then now that the Ling has come through, we'll see if that's actually in the cards as well. And eventually, of course, the Aldous makes it through, and then the Harith. Both signature picks for the remaining players of Blacklist International, Wise and Oheb.
One more pick for RRQ to try and address this issue right here, but it's looking very, very solid. Signature picks all across the board for Blacklist. It's a bit surprising how we ended up here, but considering their hero pool, you can't really say you're that surprised for Blacklist.
Now, I think the biggest question is a lot of stress, a lot of pressure will be on RRQ. It's up to Vin with the Kaja to try to pick up the right targets. Do you pick up, the Harith that's zooming around? Or do you pick up the Aldous that's going over to the back line that just wreaks havoc? It's basically like a dive comp coming up from Blacklist International as well. And there's also that global map presence that could match that link as well. So this is it.
If I may, it's a dive comp with a global box. Because again, you have the Farsa, and then you have the Aldous Chase Fate. So as long as Blacklist plays their tempo, then they can do what they're planning. But with the way RRQ drafted, might not be so easy. They have a Yuzhong, they have a Kaja, and then they have a Ling. So there's a lot from the early, mid to late that they can do to disrupt Blacklist International.
And this is a pattern we've seen from game number 1. When there are too many problems that Blacklist need to address in the middle of a chaotic fight, sometimes one or two will slip through, and that is all RRQ needs to try and get an advantage. We'll have to see if they are prepared for this essentially triple dive coming from RRQ, but ladies and gentlemen,
we're going into game 4, possibly match point. In the studio, we are throwing it over to our Bahasa counterparts. But for all of you all around the world, welcome to the land of Dawn. This is match point. Blacks International sitting at 2-1 against RRQ Hoshi.
Really, I cannot emphasize this enough. Match point is what's at stake here, ladies and gentlemen. This is game number 4 in the favor of Blacklist International. RRQ, it's up to them to try to equalize. Results has not been well for the side of RRQ, but Blacklist International, this is still, technically speaking, a upper brackets.
I've seen this again and again, but the Aegis has been used very early by Blacklist every single time. Yeah. And look at this roam coming in from Haji.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. The Petrify will be able to walk on the way. It's now Edward time to fly away, but Clay is there. He's trying to do it in chaos, but the sun coming out from Clay. What is going on for the side of Blacklist?
An eye for an eye. Edward missed it, and that's just how the world goes. Everyone blind when violence rules. Oh man, this is what I was talking about. This is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
If RRQ puts so much on the board, Blacklist can't answer back.
Another thing that RRQ needs to really pay attention and take advantage of this is the potential, the fact that early game, Blacklist should be weaker.
Of course, they have a lot of late game heroes right here.
Too many.
And in the mid lane at least, the Farsa can be a big problem, but everyone else needs time to scale, especially Oheb and Wise, the two main carries. So that is the window that RRQ can take advantage of, and they are no stranger to this position. They know how to take advantage of their opponent's weaknesses.
Yeah, something interesting as well, if you notice how Wise is actually taking the stacks, but Hono Skylar is actually getting caught by this Estes circle as well. Vin doesn't really have the ultimate, so has a doubt out of that. They touch and they go. Skylar takes some damage.
Lord spawning in a few seconds. You can see how Wise is hovering around his purple. And you mentioned those stacks. Yeah, this is just Blacklist's effort to stop this rampage of RRQ in the early game.
I mean, now with the turtle spawning, actually, not the Lord, Leo, a bit too eager here, but Skylar here gets jumped on.
Someone balls going in. Haji will be in and out the left by the airstrike. At the same time, he's going to be in. Doesn't really have the divine judgment. He's actually going to get denied. Not a very good fight coming up from RRQ, losing their marksman, but here we come. Oh, Vin, okay, gets marked, but Blacklist will not pull that trigger.
Oof, that's unfortunate, man. They almost got the kill onto Oheb, but they're a bit too clean with it. The battle spells are available, but as a result, they're able to get the turtle, knowing that there's a lot more members of Blacklist in the bottom lane. Edward is coming in, being a bit of a menace there. But so far, it's still pretty even, and Blacklist are the ones actually with a bit of a gold lead, not the start that RRQ is looking for.
You know, Hoshi, I will agree to disagree right here, right? Because you don't want to be even against a late game comp. You want to be ahead. Right now, RRQ is just barely scratching the surface in terms of the gold lead of Blacklist. But let's take a look at the items, Leo.
Well, I mean, you can see that the far side is building towards the Clock of Destiny. Later on, that will be a big problem. The earlier like Haji gets it, the more it's going to be a problem. But for now, you can see Albert just happy feet, dancing around.
Happy feet.
But there's just, without a real solid engage, so far no real movements happening just yet. Vin, though, is the one person that can change that.
You know what surprises me is the fact that top lane has become mum. After that action-packed 30 seconds, Edward and R7 are like, yeah, no, we're not doing it. But bottom, though, Zaman forced out. And Vin and the rest of RRQ Hoshi in the vision, in the sights of Blacks International. Again, I miss this. This is one key use of the Aldous ult. It's just for pure vision.
Just ulting it for vision, that is definitely a creative use of the ultimate. And knowing how Blacklist can maneuver around with vision, right, with information, that is a very dangerous weapon, and RRQ needs to respect that. At any moment, they like setting up traps, and it can be exposed by that Aldous as they make a move towards the bottom side, but yet no real result right here.
That's the problem about the Kaja, right? You need to rely on the Flicker ultimate to land down these struts. Like, let's take a look at the emblems for now. As both these two teams, they won't be able to find anything on the bottom side.
It's just a lot of movement speed and cooldown. I mean, it's just how it is, right? Utility becomes so important for both these teams right now because both of them are not making simple mistakes. They need to be forced into those errors. Otherwise, it's going to be a very slow and calculative game. So with that being said, I think that RRQ has a few more tools to work out with, but Blacklist have the counters as well. This is why the drafting phase was just so confusing, so difficult to predict.
Yep, again, something tells me that Aldous ban from a couple of games back in the series, Coach Arcadia, Coach Achille, they were on to Blacklist. They knew that this was up. So here, 5 minutes in, second turtle going for free over to RRQ Hoshi. Blacklist knows their timing still. They know that this is not the time to fight.
I respect that, right? If you notice, even the crowd, they identify that there's no point for Blacklist to try to contest the turtle. RRQ, I think the main goal right now is to try to take down as much structures as possible, especially the top-bottom side. You don't want to allow Wise to just walk around gaining resources.
But I mean, you can see that Blacklist is trading very smart, intelligently as well. They are not letting go their turrets for no reason. They always try and find something extra, and this is why it's so annoying. Once you think that you have an edge over Blacklist, they just equalize, and look at that damage though.
No.
That is something that RRQ can definitely use.
What damage? See, he's fully healed. Right now, it is Blacklist time to do the damage. This is kind of crazy, but here comes a dunk. It is going to be all my minutes actually taken down. R7 will be trying to look for the pickup right here on the back line, but I don't think Blacklist is ready for the fight right now. Edward is actually trying to buy some time. Elba picks up another kill. R7 will also do that now soon. 3 member going down. This is not a fight that Blacklist International want to do.
We just had to call it, right? Vin, with just a split second to decide, pulls Oh My Venus into RRQ's death ball, and they get 3 for free. Now they're going to capitalize, push this top lane tier 1, and now the map is much smaller. How can Blacklist recover?
I mean, James was saying, what damage? That's the damage you're looking for, man. When they combo the spells properly, that is a lot of potential pickoff for the side of RRQ. It's not just Vin pulling out Oh My Venus to ensure that no healing is done. It's also R7 with his eyes set onto Haji at every single fight, one-shotting him if the Petrify is available.
It's not so easy for Blacklist. Again, yes, they have the vision. Yes, they have the box, the space. But when you're fighting a lineup like RRQ has, again, that's a mid-Lunox.
Real world manipulation. Sorry, not the real world. Feather airstrike going in. Nothing can be found for now. Skylar doesn't connect the random shot. I think right here, Blacklist International is just desperately buying for time. This gold lead still okay for RRQ, but I think they need to do more. They need to crack open mid lane.
They're still leading right now, but they're also working against the clock. The late game is dangerous, but the early game.
Edward getting surprised, but he'll be able to get out alive right into the healing hands of Oh My Venus. That is the question I ask you, Arashi. What damage?
Well, fortunately, Edward was able to survive in the situation, and now Blacklist are the ones actually trying to make a play, but they're sandwiched between RRQ. That might not be the best result.
And not only just that, it's going to be Skylar getting tagged by the Elders as well. Haji going in, the Zaman Force already commented at the same time. Lunos forced to use the Brilliance, but now R7 is looking for the engage. Albert trying to look for the backline. It's going to be the Zaman Force, but Albert will be taking down the Queen for now. This is not a fight once again. Blacklist is not ready, and they will lose 2 members.
This is a battle of combat mobility, right? There's map mobility, there's combat mobility. You saw how Wise had to walk through the walls. You saw that he was like, oh, Albert, that's not fair. You're on top of the walls. He just couldn't join the fight. And that's just one weakness that Blacklist has built in. And now, RRQ's going to choke off those resources.
Personal.
Yeah, this is tough. This is revenge from Game 3.
RRQ is saying that this is personal. Literally taking away the purple from Blacklist.
Looking at the items right here, Blade of Despair and a Malefic Roar completed for Skylar. It's going to be a lot of damage, but looking at R7, he only has the Hunter Strike. That will be plenty to deal with any squishy member. And as you mentioned, Leo, if they can't kite away, if they can't find ways to survive from the Black Dragon, it's going to be a very tough backline play for Blacklist International.
And look at the clapback, right? Look at the capitalization of RRQ. Straight up, going for that inhibitor. They popped the shield, they left a little bit of
Oh, my Venus! No way! Finn going in for the knock! Normal healing from the side of Blacklist, but it is going to be RRQ losing R7 for just that.
Wow, that was a great play, but R7 goes in very, very aggressively, and unfortunately he gets taken out. It might not be the best scenario that RRQ is looking for, but nonetheless, they're taking away all the turrets available for Blacklist, trying to make sure that they have all the macro advantages they need to deal with an Aldous in the late game.
You know what's curious is in that engagement, Oh My Venus didn't use the ult, Oh My Venus didn't use the Aegis, so something tells me it was all according to plan.
Exactly. Blacklist, Oh My Venus has died probably 2 times already without activating the ult, without activating the Aegis. This is not a very good game. Blacklist is still not on form yet. Right now, RRQ, they have the tempo and they're trying to push as much as possible. This is, once again, a little bit too personal against Blacklist.
They want to make sure that they get all the buffs available denied from the side of Blacklist International.
But Haji secures it.
Haji secures that.
But yet Haji is able to secure it. This is why it's just so irritating. But now, knowing now that R7 has the Petrify available, this is going to be a very dangerous fight for Blacklist to try and commit to if they want to try and contest this Lord.
Yep, it's already spawned, and there's 4 men here. R7 in the wings. Clay just making sure that they make quick work of it. And just like that, Blacklist on the back foot. Wise securing what little resources he can. Run, Wise! Oh! That's all of RRQ on you!
Finn, the conceal play going in the slow, and here comes the knock. Wise will be the victim of RRQ's feisty pickup.
That is the potential, man. When you have the map control, you can ensure that even though Wise is near his turret, it does not even matter. Everyone else needs to deal with the other lanes, and that is how you can break up this team fight-centric composition from Blacklist International.
That
Take
damage.
a look at the items right here. Clock of Destiny and Lightning Truncheon done for both the Lunox and the Pharsa. But on the other hand, Demon Hunter Sword built by Skylar to ensure that in those long, prolonged team fights, the DPS will still be readily available.
Worst case scenario, Blacklist International loses inhibitor or 2. Best case scenario, they find a way to defend inside their base. But at 11 minutes, with almost 7k ahead, RRQ Hoshi, it's looking like it's worse for wear now. They can't fight, not like this.
Better strike going in at the same time. The Renaissance will be able to call it on Haji, but the top side is already getting broken for now. Being tried up down. It is once again the Queen, but we will not be able to survive any longer. It's going to be Wise trying to chase out, trying to build, but the Lord is actually forgotten by the side of Blacklist. RRQ, they take the Queen and the top side.
2 for 1. And throughout all this, they take down Skylar, and Oheb is sitting at 0, 0, and 4. Albert choking away at Wise's resources. Arashi, at what point can we say that Blacklist can clap back and Blacklist find a way in? Because so far, RRQ Hoshi, I think they're willing to make these trades for permanent objectives.
I mean, RRQ, they have lost like 5-3
yep.
gold lead, but now
Someone.
Haji is getting jumped on.
Oh no, that is big problem for the side of Blacklist. It's going to be all trying to desperately try to shut down the dreams of RRQ, but he will lose his life as well. It's just 3. It's a scrappy fight.
This is a reckless trading
Yeah.
being done by RRQ, and it's not good. Whenever teams start trading kills back and forth, the team with the late game composition usually comes out on top. With a Harith, with an Aldous in their squad, it's going to be a bit dangerous for RRQ to keep doing this. They have to play calculated and ensure that Blacklist gets locked into their own base, because otherwise it's going to be very difficult.
Man, look at this. Wise is just like getting free stacks.
Yeah.
Just serving up to him like on a silver platter.
Like a buffet.
Like a buffet.
Like a buffet. He's building a hybrid. This is the El Clasico Aldous Blacklist build. You have the Brute Force, you have the Thunderbelt, one Malefic Roar just for sure, just for safety, and then he's building an Athena's Shield. For RRQ Hoshi, I mean, again, they've grown so much from the draft from game 1 to 4 so far. Yep. Coverage, check. Protection, check. Aggression, check. And now, this is a Luminous Lord. This could be it. If RQ takes this, and then they win more team fights, it's over. We're going to game 5.
It's about the positioning of Haji. That's a lot of damage coming out with Skylar, but oh my goodness is around there. I don't like how oh my goodness actually positioned, and once again right into the hands of Finn! Real one animation, this really trying to cover the damage, but R7 will be there. It's gonna be in the Blacklist International, but here comes Wise! He is hungry for the kills, and Blacklist International shuts down RRQ.
3 for none! 3 for none, and they're gonna go for the Lord right at the least point, right where you did not expect it. Blacks International claps back in just in time. R7! Oh!
R7, another point over the side of Wise. The stack is unsurmountable. Haji forces the Elba to run away. Lord given over to Blacklist.
4v1 Arashi. What's RQ to do here?
They have to try to recover, man, but the gold lead is down to 1.4k only. It is a very dangerous situation for RRQ to be in. I was about to say before the previous fight that Edward is the unseen member that can be a deciding factor in these big fights, and he completely delivers. He turns it around, and now Blacklist are the ones with a gold advantage. What a disaster for RRQ.
Once again, it's so weird to be fighting on this side of the map. Haji activated by the airstrike at the same time. Finn wouldn't be able to catch up for anyone for now. It's going to be RRQ zoning Blacklist zoning RRQ away.
For the better part of 15 minutes, I get you, Jays. The fact that we haven't seen Blacklist cross the river in so long, that's just the result of the hard work of the mission accomplished by Agent Zero. You're right, Edward has been doing so much to draw lines across the map to make sure that Blacklist can make moves and can clap back the way they have now. And just like that, the gold lead swings over it. Is that, Albert failed!
Albert
take it!
missed the purple and will get ultimate right now. It's Pandemonium over the side of RRQ as well. And this is a big problem. Blacklist International has a bit of gold lead.
Off the bat, Blacklist International now has the lead. They have equalized in the gold division. They have a lead in range, and they also have a lot more sustain and an infinite scaling hero. On paper, this is a done deal, but RRQ, they are known to do something so crazy it might just work. That is what we're looking for right here. They have tried to just pick up Oh My Venus and Haji, and so far it's been working kind of. They need something better though.
Wrong neighborhood, Bin. That's a bad place. Surprise is going to be OM as well. There's no way OM to be here. But here comes Wise. Something great for the backline. Look at the damage coming out from Wise on top of OM. It's on top of the Skylar, and none of the RRQ members actually fall. The fight has gone into a little bit so long. Blacklist needs desperately to get out of the way. Albert, the healer, is gone. RRQ, they're reign supreme. They're looking to end the game. This is personal.
The last two members of Blacks International on the map, Edward and Wise.
No way.
RRQ Hoshi are on a manhunt, and
No
they take
way.
down Wise. It's over. It's over. 5v1. Edward, he's fighting for dear life. Can he do it? Oh,
I don't think so, Leo. RRQ will be equalizing the series.
We're going to game 5, folks. We're going to game 5. The Sang Raja claps back. Not here. Not in our home turf. We're going to game 5.
Looking forward to a full series between RRQ Hoshi and Blacklist International. And I was just talking that they have to try and do something different. And they go and pick off the Harriet of all people. What a performance coming in from RRQ. They are here, still in the fight.
After OHEB went down,